Welcome to this video, which covers the game Karjakin against Aronian from the 7th round of the Candidates Tournament. And before this round, Aronian on +1, just on +1, after he had spoiled this amazingly winning position against Karjakin the last round. And Karjakin, he's on -1. He's still suffering from this loss against Krumnik, and besides that he only made a couple of draws, so he really needs to move at some point and get a win if he wants to still have a chance. Let's see what happened in this game today. We got e4 and not much of a surprise. Aronian is exclusively playing e5, and here it's again the Berlin. This is played so often, but okay, I can promise you that this won't be a dull game. I really can. So bear with me, it gets interesting, it only takes a while. d3 played, not the end game, and here bishop c5, c3, castles. Here's an interesting moment. He just castled, but when I had looked at this as black, I have played the Berlin once in a while myself. I was always a bit concerned what happens if they just take all my pawns. It turns out that d5 in this position is very good for black, but it's important to know that white cannot grab even more. This will lead to big trouble already. Note that something like, I don't know where to go even here. Black will take here, and there's also bishop a6 in the mix, so not advisable to grab really. Castles is better. And here if black now plays d6, we have a position that has been played in this tournament already, for instance between Karjakin and Karjakin as black. But Aronian is playing differently. He plays a rook e8, which I think is interesting. It at the moment does not play the d pawn and allows after knight d2 to play a6. And this is really interesting now. If white now does not take on c6, this is what Karjakin played. Instead this, for example, black can play b5. Let's say here, and then can he play d5 even? He can at least play d6, and then we have a pretty regular looking position from the, let's say, normal Rui with a6 earlier, but white is already committed to d3. This is certainly nothing that black should fear. He took on c6. This is maybe the more testing move. D takes and knight c4. That's interesting. He attacks e5, and black now needs to make some sort of small concession to keep the pawn protected. I'm not sure you want to play this. Here you must reckon with g4, and giving up the bishop so early, you also don't want to do that. So to cover, you probably need to play knight d7, which is not terrible. It at the moment blocks the bishop. That's a bit awkward, but you will very often get back into play like that, or to g6. So not a big problem. b4, bishop to d6, and bishop to b3. The queen to b3. The position is relatively close, so black is not in a much of a hurry. He can improve pieces. Bishop g5 now played. Of course you must avoid that.
Check.
So it's a piece move, and okay, there's only queen d7 available. A bit awkward, but it's not really a problem. Black is still sufficiently coordinated. Bishop e3 and knight to g6. This is activated looking at important squares, and what black is trying to do is to get some harmony back in his pieces, like queen here and bishop to e6. Yeah, and Karjakin is playing knight d2, bishop f8 back, securing this bishop so that it's not traded. Now we went for d4. So we have a crisis in the center. He wants to do something, and well, it's tough to suggest anything else really besides d4. You have a hard time to prepare something like f4, and d4 is the only pawn break, so he is going for that. Queen e7. Yeah, this is no. This is the idea, of course. Black finally wants to develop his bishop from c8, and of course he also needed to lend some cover to e5. Yeah, here in this position Karjakin took on e5. This is a move that he actually criticized later in the press conference. He gave this line, takes as better, and now he said that f4, queen e6 and f5 would lead to an endgame that is about equal and tough to lose for white. Yeah, that's probably true, but this is not forced. I'm not quite sure. He said that queen e6 looks like the most natural to him. I personally would have thought that queen e7 is natural here to prepare bishop e6. The computer, however, gives queen b5 and just gives black an advantage, a move that he didn't mention. The idea is that this is simply a weak spot, and it's not clear what white is doing here. A move like a4, for example, is already very tricky for white. No, I'm not sure that this really is a big improvement. On the other hand, I believe that what he played in the game, while not really promising much, is also not a problem at all. He took with the pawn, and then, well, bishop e6 introduced this threat. So white needed to retreat with the queen, and now we had this simplification. Yeah, and this is what, yeah, Karjakin thought that this is very comfortable for black. That's certainly true. Black does not have any problems, but he's also not better, and therefore there's not much to criticize, I believe. I don't really think that white can in any way think of playing for an edge anyway. Here, how does white play for an advantage? You've given black the pair of bishops, and he does not have any particular weakness, so it's probably just a logical outcome that it is about equal. Yeah, he now retreated to d2. If he takes on e5, which is somewhat more natural, you have this problem. Black is quickly attacking here, and his pawn majority, yeah, okay, there is a double pawn, but you can now get rid of it. Black is just a bit more active here. It's nothing special, though. I mean, Karjakin could have played that. It's not like he's losing instantly. This is a bit more, yeah, let's say complicated, but also already fine for black. Yeah, good move. Looking at those crucial squares. And yeah, f3 makes sense. Knight g4 you really don't want to have in the mix as well. And now he played knight to c4. Yeah, black's plan is to invade on the light squares. Now this is a weakness here on c4. And at the right moment you want to advance your pawns. That's clear. And I believe that in fact the next move, bishop f4, is not so precise. It was also criticized by Aronian. This is what pointed me to this move. Aronian said that just bishop f2 should be about equal. Yeah, that's a very fair assessment, probably because this is an important square that this bishop now watches over. After bishop f4, the problem is that after c5, yeah, black immediately can transform this position into something that is quite comfortable for him. b5. And now knight d6. Yeah, this is just this is a weakness on b5. And yeah, white hasn't gained anything by putting the bishop on f4. He now exchanged and played rook b1 to cover the pawn. Yeah, black is slightly more comfortable here. But a very important part of this of evaluating this position is that Karjakin was very much down on time. We see that right here. It's about 40 minutes that he was behind, but the next couple of moves really cost lots of time. b6, e5, not an easy decision. It took a while to play that, as of course pawns, yeah, you cannot take those moves back. The pawns just don't go backwards. I don't like e5 at all, but I understand that he wanted to also make sure that e4 is a possible square for the queen. A computer is sort of, yeah, it gives black a slight advantage in any case, but I personally don't like the move much, but maybe it is okay. We are entering now, and the following phase is very interesting. Black entered here, yeah, introducing a simple idea. White needs to react to that, and the reaction cannot be a simple thing like capturing. Look at this. Yeah, look at this. This is hanging. This is a position where, for example, e4, e5 is not helping white at all. You simply don't have a move here like that. That you don't want to play. And this endgame is just not yeah, it's just terrible to play. Maybe it's not lost outright, but very uncomfortable. Yeah, he played queen to e4. This was the idea behind e5 anyway. Rook a4, good move, introducing these kind of ideas and simply increasing the pressure. White is getting low on time. Yeah, played rook c1. That's a funny move. h6. Yeah, the idea of rook c1. I need to show it. If black plays this discovery, he plays c4. We see this idea in the game, but Aronian makes a good move, h6. And this is a very little move that does not seem like much, but it's a very important tool that I wanted to mention. If you're in a position where you have much more time than your opponent, and you have some pressure, but it's not like you see a direct win, a direct combination win of material or anything, you just don't really see anything concrete, then it's very often a good idea to just relatively quickly, not like blitzing, but relatively quickly play a move that improves your position somewhat and just gives him the opportunity to do something harmful to his position. If you have little time on the clock, it's very often easier to defend against concrete threats than to just play a move in a position where you have many possibilities. Yeah, okay, and this kind of move is h6. Yeah, white now needs to move, and yeah, what are you going to do? h6 is a little bit of an improvement move. It gives some space for the king, for the back rank. It might actually threaten g5. Could be a threat. What should white do? It turns out that the computer recommends here the move just bishop g3, but this is the only move that actually keeps it about equal. Black is easier to play, but this is the machine's recommendation, which looks a bit strange, to be honest, but it leaves this hanging. But okay, black cannot take, obviously. Yeah, what Karjakin did is a very human reaction with little time. He played h4, simply blocking g5, the g5 idea. But this is also a bit of a weakness. Yeah, it weakens the whole king side, and yeah, very often play those kind of small improvement moves in time trouble of the opponent. It's often more effective than doing something sharp. Okay, now knight b2 was played, c4, and queen to d7. Yeah, this is the idea now, d3. yeah, rook b1 was played. Karjakin was coming lower and lower on the clock, and he found an interesting way to defend now. Rook a2, and now bishop to e3. Yeah, this this might be a mistake, but we now come to the point where after this there is a very, very long, basically forced sequence of moves, and the resulting position, I must be honest with you, the resulting position I cannot evaluate. I mean, I on my own couldn't evaluate it anyway, but even with the help of the computer I cannot really tell if the resulting position, yeah, how to assess it. I really cannot tell. I mean, I will give you lines and some ideas, but I'm not 100% sure. But the question if this is a mistake or not hinges a bit on this. It depends upon the evaluation of the upcoming position, like in 10 moves, because this is almost forced. The computer wants to go here and defend passively. Yeah, covering d4. And yeah, it's nothing too great. Yeah, something like that is the computer's suggestion, giving black slight advantage. But well, bishop e3, and Karjakin now went after knight a4. This is the critical move. Yeah, the fork. Karjakin now went rook b3. This he had planned beforehand when he played rook b1 and bishop e3. Yeah, and this is interesting now. He threatens rook d3, suddenly activating the rook and maybe coming even to d8. So this now forces black's reply. Black takes on d2. He has no choice. Yeah, gaining 2 minor pieces for the rook, which at first looks excellent. But there is some counterplay. Rook d3.
Check.
The check. Yeah, you must give the check to gain this tempo. King h2. And now knight b2. All this is pretty much forced. Now white plays rook d8. And this was the whole idea of this maneuver. You activate the rook and set up this pin. Oops. Set up this pin on the bishop. And there's the additional idea of queen a8. And just that, after queen c4, is happening. And this is what Aronian also had calculated. And I mean, it's a very comfortable thing from Black's point of view, is that
check.
After this was played, you can also always
check.
Give those give a perpetual. This is a very nice thing for Black. You can give this perpetual if you want, or you can give it at a later stage. Aronian didn't even bother with repeating the position. He just took on e5. Yeah, g3 played. This is also the best move. And now this position, move 42. This arises almost by force from this position, where I said that I cannot really tell if this is a big mistake or not. Because look at this is completely forced. After knight a4, rook b3, now black must take, otherwise rook d3 is even better for white. And all this is completely forced.
Check.
Many moves, but it's completely natural flow. And this is a funny position. At first, if you give this to a computer, it says that black is just clearly better. But if you continue and look at some lines, you see that it is not so clear cut. It is not so clear cut at all, even if the computer initially gives black like a pawn plus. It's not easy at all to do. First of all, sorry, there are simple things, don't cut it. If you go something like that, for example, to cover on f8, white is just doing that and draws the game very easily. Yeah, this is not on. Black must do something active here. Yeah, giving a check. This is what Aronian did, very natural move. He gave the check here. So here, this is the first very interesting position, which it's a bit strange because at first you might think, okay, why is this interesting? King h3, what else? Yeah, you don't go back with your king. This doesn't make much sense. But in fact, it might be that king h1 is a very good move. Yeah, he played king h3. Yeah, after only little thought. But to be honest, after king h1, together with the computer, I couldn't find a win for black. Maybe that's my problem. I mean, that I'm simply not seeing it, or I cannot really, yeah, I don't find a win. The computer also goes down after some time with his evaluation, and at the end it seems to be a draw. That's really funny. What should black try? Knight d3. Okay, just like in the game, by example, in the game after king h3 there was also knight d3 played, so we must examine that. But the difference is this move. In the game, queen d5 was not really possible at all because knight f2 check. If you now play knight f2 check, I just go to g1, and while this is looking threatening, there is no checkmate. This is not leading to a mate. At the same time, white has this very, very direct threatening mate in 2 moves. And black must do something against it. Okay, you can always go for a perpetual, but how do you actually win? Knight f2 is not doing anything. You can give checks here. Yeah, not that one, knight e1. But here, you can give a ton of checks, but how do you actually win the game? You just stay on the second and first rank and simply don't go upwards to h3. I think it's just a draw. It's really remarkable. Well, after this, king h1. And I tried other things. Let's say king h7. Yeah, just giving away this. And now, some other move than knight d3. Knight d3 would transpose. I tried knight d1, for example. But here, the absolutely remarkable thing is, and maybe here is the whole problem of this line, that white can actually play queen e4 check. At first, you might think, okay, this is nonsense. Isn't this just great for black? You've got 3 pawns, yeah, for the exchange, but it's not 100% clear. Let's say knight c3, rook takes, knight b5, looks excellent. Yeah? 3 passes, but look at the e-pawn. What are you doing against the e-pawn now? Here I'm starting to pick up pawns. Go here, okay, e6. And what now? White has very serious counterplay. You can try that, but this is going to be a draw. I'm really a bit puzzled. Yeah, maybe someone is be able to find a win after that, but I don't find it. They both didn't mention any of it in the press conference. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's a draw. What else can black try? This maybe? Okay, taking. Check. Get the king out of it. And something here maybe. And this I didn't analyze. I'm just having this idea right now. Maybe that one. Maybe this check is actually not good. I could take here. Something like that. Interesting. Yeah, it's tough. It's really tough to analyze. Very complicated stuff. But I think it was probably better and maybe drawing to go to h1. I cannot wouldn't bet my life on it. But it seems tougher. Yeah, he went to h3 with the king. The much more natural looking move, of course, but still not. Knight d3 now played.
Check.
And rook takes f8. Yeah, okay, this is pretty much clear. And only now in this position, I think Karjakin is playing the absolutely decisive mistake. He's playing rook e8. This loses. This is now I'm sure about something for a change. This loses. What is interesting is that both players had calculated the following line. Not this, but the check.
Check.
And queen
Check.
here check. This is very natural, of course. And now queen e6,
Check.
and they both agreed that this
Check.
should lose for white. Yeah, takes. And now they looked at this line, rook c8, normal move, completely normal looking. c4, rook c7, knight c5, and now this endgame. Yeah, and this endgame after the check.
Check.
King h7, queen e6.
Check.
Check, and now where exactly do you want to give the check? No, sorry. This check.
Check.
And anywhere and here. And this is probably a relatively straightforward win, as this queen here is nicely protecting against checks, and next you will push the c-pawn. This is a line that both players had seen, and that's really an easy line. It's long, but I mean, I had seen this as well when I was watching, and not difficult. But here, after this, they only looked at rook c8, and this is also what I looked at exclusively. I didn't have any other idea. And it turns out that this is not so easy, this position. It's not that lost, I believe. The computer just wants to play king to g2. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not even sure what this move is doing. Probably intending to walk the king over to the queen side. And at first you think, okay, what's the point of this? Not just pushing the c-pawn. Yeah, you can push the c-pawn. But I'm going to play this move. And now c3 is not working. I just take the knight. And white is intending to play rook d4. And I cannot really tell if this is winning for black. You can try, of course, here, let's say something like that you can try. Yeah, with some neat tricks. Get this. But is this really winning? Yeah, white now is going behind the pawns. Of course, white is never going to win the game or anything, but this is still tough. I'm not sure if it's a flat out win. Computer is only giving black 0.4 or something. It's not like I'm arguing against the engine's evaluation hugely here. The computer is basically saying it's a draw, which I have some difficulty to believe. 3 pawns is quite a lot for the exchange, but maybe it's not easy at all. There are other variations of this endgame, by the way. If we look at this, instead of I was playing this too quickly. Instead of c4, this is also a possibility. You look at this, for example, where black goes here to keep this important structure protected. This is also a possibility, and now black goes here and maybe pushes this. If you are able to exchange on the king side and walk over with your king, you maybe win this, but I'm not sure that you can manage. Yeah, let's say here rook c8, and yeah, let's say here. How are you going to make progress now? If you move the king over, yeah, okay, But I will go here. I'm not 100% sure that it is lost. It looks highly critical, but it still needs to be played. In the game, he played rook e8, and this is for sure losing. Just from just tactically losing. King must go up. No choice. If you go back, there's
check.
Knight e4, deadly. Yeah, go here, and now you can take the pawn, and this is very important. You get rid of this important pawn. No check here. No check on c6. Played g4. And here Aronian played queen to c4. This was still very important. He took 15 minutes to do that. And queen c4 is absolutely the only move that is winning in this position. This is the fun thing with computer checks. It really tells you queen c4 only move winning. Anything else is still in a way tricky or just not enough. I was thinking actually, why not c4? Isn't this winning as well? I'm pushing the pawn. I give my queen some room. Yeah, white can play f4, and now you must play accurately not to lose. It's really that tough. Rook h8 check and f5 check is threatened. You only have one way to draw here. g5, check. And then this check here. Oh no, this is the wrong line even. What is the drawing line? I forgot actually what the drawing line is. Queen c5. What was the drawing line here? There's only one way to draw, which I forgot. Maybe queen c5. But the point is, that's not really that important, as queen c4 is winning and he played it after some thought. One key idea is, of course, here, go to f4 and cover important squares. Queen c8 and now queen f4. And this is so important, covering here and threatening queen h2 checkmate. Yeah, and here white really has no choice, as this mate threat forces him to allow the queen trade. But now the c-pawn is just far too strong. And a couple of more moves. And here Karjakin resigned. So, very important game, very important. It means that on the one hand, Karjakin is now out of it with -2. This is really impossible to still fight from. -2, you would need to basically win all the rest of his games almost. So no chance. He's simply not in good shape. And Aronian with a very, very important win after this shaky performance that he had against Karjakin. And really a good game, a really good game by Aronian. You cannot really pinpoint any mistakes or whatever. I'm not too satisfied with my own analysis effort here, because I really cannot tell what was happening. If all this is a draw, yeah, after King h1, what was Black's mistake then? I mean, Black was around here, yeah. Black was obviously pushing, yeah. Then is there some mistake by Black here? I mean, technically speaking, a mistake. It's not. Humans are not machines and play perfectly. So I'm not trying to say that Aronian played badly or anything. I just would like to know if there was something that he could have done to improve upon all that. If this is just a draw, even if this sounds very strange, then there must have been some way to improve, and I'm absolutely not sure where. Okay, but maybe I'm also mistaken, and this isn't a draw. This strange King h1 idea. Yeah, tough game, a very, very tough game. All right, I hope you enjoyed the analysis, and maybe you can shed some light upon those complications. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll be back tomorrow with the all-important game Aronian with white against Arnold.